The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 29. While Lien cried bitterly, Charlie asked Mr. Orville's men to drag Horia in front of him. Horia was already trembling with fright at this time, looked at Charlie, and wailed and said, "Charlie, I am your big aunt, you don't look at the face of the monk and look at the face of the Buddha, after all, you are our son-in-law of the Wilson family, isn't it? You just spared me this time, what do you think?" Charlie laughed and said, "Don't talk to me about this useless thing. Let me talk about it first. How much money do you have now?" Horia's heart tightened, and she blurted out, "I have no money, I really have no money." Charlie said coldly, "I give you an opportunity to take the initiative to explain, you must grasp it well, otherwise, Lien is your role model." Horia shook her whole body. She was horrified, but she also kept her eyes on her mind. She hurriedly said, I have 5 million. This is our family's wealth." Charlie nodded and said, "Okay, open your mobile banking and let me see the balance." Horia panicked and said, I don't have a mobile bank." "Really?" Charlie said coldly, "If you let me find mobile banking installed in your phone, be careful that I break your leg." Horia shuddered in shock, and hurriedly said, I will show you. After speaking, she hurriedly took out her mobile phone and opened the mobile banking. Seeing the balance, Horia panicked. "This card is more than 15 million. This is the life savings of her and her husband, plus the money that Wendy got from Fredman to be his lover. It was not in her hands before, but in the hands of her husband Noah." However, as soon as the Lady Wilson was chasing for the money, Noah hurriedly transferred all the money to her. She was planning to buy a house with the money. But the last time she saw the house, she ran into Elaine and was mocked to death by Elaine. So she dismissed the idea of buying a house, and planned to pit Elaine's money and villa first, and then when she had money, she would buy a set. However, if Charlie knew that she had 15 million, then he would definitely not leave a penny for her. Just when she didn't know what to do, Charlie grabbed the phone and looked at it intently, then frowned, "Didn't you say there are only 5 million? Horia cried and said, "Charlie, this is the savings of our family of 4. The Wilson family will be over soon, and the Lady Wilson's villa will soon be taken away. We still expect to use the money to buy a house." Then, she said pitifully, "Harold hasn't married yet, and Wendy hasn't married either. This is the last foundation of our family of 4 and the Lady Wilson." Charlie snorted coldly, "What does it have to do with me? Don't say that I didn't give you a way out. You donate these 15 million now. I will spare your life for this matter today. Otherwise, I will let Mr. Orville pick you directly later, you choose yourself." Horia glanced at the fierce Orville, her heart was tense, and she said in fear, I donate. Spare my life, and I will donate all the money." After that, she immediately used his mobile phone to transfer all her 15 million deposits to Project Hope. Charlie was only satisfied and said, "Okay, since you are so acquainted, then spare your life." Horia was completely relieved, crying, and asked, "Charlie, can you let me go?" "Let you go?" Charlie shook his head, and said, I just said that I would spare you not to die. You can leave without saying anything. Ah! Horia said in a panic, I donated all my 15 million, what about that? Charlie said coldly, you were the one who urged the chief to do this today. There is no reason to let Lien be punished by yourself, right? Yes. Lien blurted out angrily, she is the real culprit. Charlie looked at Horia and said with a smile, your accomplices all say you are the culprit. Whatever you say, you have to follow your old partner and go to the black coal mine to dig for coal and continue to contribute to the Hope Project. After speaking, Charlie pointed to another woman named Nivea, and said, and you, the three of you, go to the black coal kill to work together to make atonement. Nivea cried in fright, kowtow, and said, I was wronged. I was found by Lien to join in and play mahjong. I am not a culprit. Charlie said coldly, do you think I would believe you? Don't be silly, and I will spare the other people in your household registration book. Otherwise, you will be like Lien, the whole family will be neat and tidy. Start digging for coal. Nivea trembled violently when he heard this. Although he was terrified, he didn't dare to squeak a word. Charlie immediately said to Orville, Mr. Orville, today these little gangsters, including Ron, are counted as one. They will all be sent to work in the black coal kill, and they will be given the worst accommodation and food. A monthly salary of 2,000, open all year round. After that, he sternly said, these people, who work hard and consciously work overtime, will be given a reasonable salary increase. Those who do not work hard or shirk work will be deducted appropriately. Anyway, each of them, when will they donate 300,000 to the Hope Project by work, and then only let them go? 2,000 a month, 24,000 a year. To save 300,000, it takes more than 10 years. Even if it is 3,000 a month, 36,000 a year, it will take more than 8 or 9 years to save 300,000. Charlie felt that since this group of people were also part of this gambling game, they would naturally have to atone for those who were ruined by the gambling. It is also necessary to atone for the children who have gone through all kinds of hardships because of their parents' gambling. Letting them go to the black coal mine to dig for coal donations is the best punishment for them. When Orville heard this, he immediately said, Okay, Mr. Wade, I'll let someone arrange a bus for them. Charlie said, the gang of gangsters inside, break one leg of each before getting into the car, so as to avoid the black coal kill being disobedient and trying to escape. Mr. Orville said immediately, Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will break one of their legs first. When they get there, they are tied up with iron chains when they work, eat, go to the bathroom, and even sleep. No one can run away. Good. Charlie nodded with satisfaction. Horia cried at this time and said, Charlie, you can't let me dig coal for a lifetime, I still have my husband and children to take care of, and my mother-in-law to support. Charlie said indifferently, this is simple, just like these people, when will you save 300,000 donations from work, and then will you regain your freedom? Horia suddenly collapsed and cried loudly, Charlie, you can't be so cruel, Charlie, you know, we are all a family. Charlie asked her back, why were you so cruel when you cheated my mother-in-law? Why didn't you think about it? We are a family. Yes. Elaine, who had not spoken all the time, shouted angrily at this time, "Horia, you peesh girl with no conscience, you still say you are a family with us." Horia knelt in front of her, crying and begging, "Sister, thousands of mistakes are all the fault of your sister-in-law, but I am still your sister-in-law after all, so please forgive me this time." Elaine kicked her to the ground and yelled, "You have pitted my more than 2 million deposits. It is not enough. You have to pit my house. It is not enough to pit my son-in-law's house. This is going to drive our family of 4 to death. Do you still have any conscience or humanity?" Speaking of this, Elaine suddenly came back to her senses, slapped her thigh, and screamed, "Mom, my money!" Elaine just watched these people crying bitterly, and completely forgot that they had won more than 2 million cash. Now she suddenly remembered, and blurted out to Charlie, "Hurry up and let them return the money to me. They also took my more than 2 million. The reason why Charlie asked them to donate all their money to Project Hope was to punish them on the one hand and to teach the mother-in-law a lesson. Are you not greedy? Are you a gambler? Don't you think you can make a fortune by playing mahjong? Now let you lose all your cash, and let you increase your memory." So Charlie asked the two people pretentiously, "The money you won from my mother-in-law, quickly discuss how to pay it back." The two looked at each other, crying and said, "All our money was donated. Even the money we won against her just now has also been donated." Charlie turned to look at his mother-in-law, and said helplessly, "Mom, they have no money." "What are you talking about?" Elaine suddenly became mad, and rushed to grab Horiya's hair with one hand and Lien's hair with the other, shaking her arms vigorously, and even pulled the heads of the two violently. Bumped together. She cursed hysterically, "You two, who have suffered thousands. Give me all my money quickly. Give me back." Both of them had a lot of hair torn off. They screamed in pain. Horiya cried aggrievedly, "My sister, forgive me, my sister, all your money has gone to Lien. I haven't beaten you. 100,000, and all of them have been donated." Elaine let go of Horiya, tore at Lien's hair with both hands, and then freed her hands to beat and dig on her face, and soon scratched her face with blood. "What's the last name? If you don't return the money to me today, I have to peel off the skin on your face. I will ruin your face." Lien was so painful that she didn't dare to fight back, she could only cry and begged, Sister Elaine, please spare your life. I really have no money. All my money will be donated at your son-in-law's orders." "Yes, that includes winning your money. How can I still have money for you now?" Elaine was crazy, tearing her mouth and cursing, "I don't care. You pay me back. Give me all my money." Lien's mouth was soon torn and bleeding, and the pain made her cry. Elaine was already crazy at this time. She just wanted to get her money back. All the money in the family was in her account, which was all deceived by this group of people. Now they just took the house back, nothing else. Thinking of this, she was even more furious, kicking Lien to the ground with one kick, and riding on her, she drew left and right with blows. Lien screamed while struggling violently. At this moment, Elaine and Lien were stunned at the same time when they heard a sudden pop in the pocket of their jacket. After a while, Elaine roared like crazy, "Bangle! My mother's bracelet! My mother's jade bracelet! She yelled like crazy, and reached out to Lien's pocket. Immediately afterwards, she let out a painful ouch, and quickly pulled out her hand, her fingertips being cut and bleeding. Even so, she took out a small broken jade bracelet from Lien's pocket. Elaine looked at the broken bracelet and sat on the ground and cried. 4 or 5 million bracelets. I am robbed. The most valuable jewelry of this jadeite is a bracelet. A bracelet with such a good material can sell for 4 to 5 million, but once it is broken, you can only make some ring faces or small pendants, which are worthless and may not add up. Sell for 200,000. Elaine has collapsed. 2 million gambling debts could not be collected, and 4 or 5 million bracelets were still broken. This is a terrible loss. She immediately turned to look at Nivea, hysterically cursing, "You didn't donate. You pay me back. Give me all your money. Otherwise I will kill you. I will tear you up." Nivea knelt on the ground in fright, crying and begging, "Sister, I am a pauper. There is a total deposit of more than 60,000. If you want it, I will transfer it to you." Elaine went up and smoked her a few mouths, and said angrily, "I don't believe it. Open your mobile bank and let me see." Nivea cried and said, "I really have no money, eldest sister. I have an income of more than 2,000 a month. If it weren't for the money, I wouldn't come here to harm people with the evil spirit Lien." With that said, she opened her mobile bank, which indeed only had 63,000 in it. Elaine is about to collapse. What is more than 60,000 for her? She has lost more than 6 million. At this time, she couldn't help but look at Charlie, and yelled, "You are all to blame. You are all to blame. You rubbish, you say. Why did you let them donate the money? Why didn't you let them give me the money?" Charlie frowned and said lightly, "Mom, I saved your life, this is the most important thing." "I pooh." Elaine jumped angrily, "I don't want you to save my life. I want you to save my money. My money is gone, and I am alive. You give me the money. Give it back." Charlie looked at her coldly, not too lazy to be familiar with her. He made her lose money and did it deliberately, in order to teach her a lesson. Otherwise, next time she will still decide how much trouble will be caused. It doesn't matter if she died on her own. She will hurt Claire. Orville was also very dissatisfied with Elaine's performance. He instinctively felt wronged for Charlie. What is this mother-in-law? He saved her life, is she still so sloppy? Thinking of this, he shouted sharply, "I warn you, don't think that you are Mr. Wade's mother-in-law, you can be disrespectful to him. If it is too much, I will send you to the black coal kill with them." Elaine was taken aback, her arrogance immediately went down a lot, and she said with an annoyance, "What does our family matter have to do with you?" After finishing speaking, he pointed to Charlie and said, "Do you know that this guy is a big flicker? You are now being fooled around by him and serving him as a spearman. One day when you come back, you must be the first one to hack him to death." No matter how angry, Orville stretched out his hand and slapped her, and yelled, "If you dare to provoke my relationship with Mr. Wade, I will kill you." Elaine really didn't dare to be arrogant now. She knew Orville's methods. If she really annoyed him, How could she manage it? So she could only take a few steps back, and honestly did not dare to speak any more. At this time, Orville came to Charlie, knelt on one knee, and said with a sad expression, "Mr. Wade, I am really wronged for you." After he finished speaking, he raised his voice a little, and blurted out, "Why do you want to be the son-in-law of this kind of shrew? Even if you and Mrs. Wade have a deep relationship, there is no need to keep this kind of mother-in-law in the world. And she has disrespected you over and over again. I should have killed her long ago." When Charlie heard this, he shook his head slightly, and said lightly, "Forget Mr. Orville, there are some things to learn to accept." Orville looked at Elaine bitterly, while the latter was frightened. At this time, Elaine didn't dare to raise the subject of money anymore, so she could only temporarily feel wronged and distressed in her heart. At this moment, several cars were parked in the courtyard of the villa, and Isaac personally walked in with 5 sturdy people who were tied up. Each of these 5 people were full of fear. As soon as she entered the door and saw Lien, the young man blurted out and asked her, "Mom, what is going on?" Lien saw that her husband, son-in-law, daughter, and daughter-in-law were all arrested, and the ghost cried and howled suddenly. "I'm sorry for you, I'm sorry for you, blame me, you have to suffer with me," a man in his 50s hurriedly asked. "Wife, what is going on?" Charlie looked at him and said coldly, "Do you know that your wife has been so harmful to others?" I don't know," the man said dodgingly. Charlie had a full view of his reaction and sneered, "Still talking to me? Your wife has been a croupier for decades. What kind of person she is? You don't know what it is." After all, he looked at the 5 people one by one, and then asked, "Which of you are Lien's son and daughter?" A young man and young woman raised their hands timidly. "They still don't know what happened." Charlie looked at them and sneered, "I heard that you are all high-achieving students from prestigious universities, then do you know, where did your university money come from?" The two looked at each other, neither dared to speak. Lien's husband probably realized that something was wrong. It must be his wife who had been caught by someone. So he hurriedly said, "This gentleman, if my wife cheated while playing cards, then you can tell the truth. How much can I pay you?" Lien cried and said, "Husband, our small 20 million has been donated, and the 2 million I won today have also been donated." "Donated it?" Lien's husband asked in surprise, "Who did you donate to?" Charlie said coldly, "Donated it to Project Hope." After all, he observed the family and sternly reprimanded, "You vampires who specialize in cheating, don't know how many people have been scammed and how many families have been ruined for so many years. But, you yourself are doing very well. The children have all gone to prestigious universities and become successful people. Don't you have to pay this debt?" Everyone in Lien's family was frightened. Charlie continued, "Today, I will send all your family to the Black Coal Kill in the west of Shaanxi to dig coal for labor, and use your blood and sweat to redeem your sins for so many years." "Hey!" All the young people suddenly collapsed. A man shouted, "I am not from their family, I am just their son-in-law." Charlie nodded, "Son-in-law? I heard that you are doing microloans? Tell me, how many young people have you cheated?" "Me?" Charlie snorted coldly, "From now on, I will listen to you one more nonsense, you don't have to go to the black coal kill to dig for coal, I will dig a pit and bury you, 10 million years later, let you become coal." Another good-looking young woman cried and said, "I'm just their daughter-in-law, and I haven't done anything to hurt anybody." Charlie asked back, "I heard that your house runs a black casino." The woman suddenly turned pale and blurted, I haven't participated in casino operations, I just do financial work, financial work." Charlie said indifferently, "Financial worker is also an accomplice, there is no need to be washed away, honestly follow to atonement, your family." Isaac said at this time, "Mr. Wade, I know this woman. Her father's name is Jones Laosi. He runs a black casino nearby. Do you want me to take them all?" Charlie said, "Check what you have done that hurts the world and reason. If the sin is unforgivable, just kill him." The woman fell to the ground with fright. Afterwards, 3 Toyota Coaster minibuses drove to Thompson. A dozen punks including Ron's legs were broken one by one, ready to be sent to the car. Charlie said to Elaine at this time, "Mom, let's go." Elaine's expression was very ugly, she pulled Charlie aside, and whispered, "They took that kind of video of me, you must help me find it out." "That kind of video?" Charlie frowned and asked, "What do you mean?" Elaine said anxiously, "That's the kind of video. They told me to take off my clothes and shoot. You must find the video for me and delete it. Otherwise, in case the video's streamed I won't live outside." Charlie was stunned for a moment, but didn't expect the mother-in-law to enjoy this treatment. Shaking his head helplessly, he pulled the Ron over and asked in a cold voice, "Where is the video you made?" Ron was so scared that he cried and cried. "Mr. Wade, I'm confused for a while," Charlie said coldly, "stop talking nonsense, say, where is the video?" "In my phone." "Is it sent out?" No, absolutely not." Charlie nodded, took out the phone from his pocket, handed it to Elaine, and said, "Mom, you find the video and deleted it yourself." Elaine hurriedly took the phone, found her video in the album, and deleted it completely. Later, she still felt unsafe, so she just smashed the phone directly. Afterwards, Elaine said bitterly, "I have to wait for them to get in the car before I leave." Charlie shrugged and said, "Okay, I'll let them hurry up, it's getting dark, and I have to go home to cook for Claire." Seeing a group of people being escorted to 3 CMBS separately, Elaine was able to resolve her hatred and threw the car keys to Charlie and said, "You drive." Charlie said goodbye to Isaac and Mr. Orville, drove into the old master's BMW, and then drove away from Thompson. As soon as the car got out of Thompson's first-grade car, Elaine began to cry and said, "Today is really bad. 2 million is lost, and only 60,000 is back. And the jade bracelet." The more Elaine thought about it, the more distressed, and the more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she was. While crying, she looked at Charlie and scolded angrily, "It's all to blame for this rubbish. Do you think you are so idle? Let them donate money to Project Hope. What are you doing? Why don't you let them pay me all the money?" Charlie said indifferently, "Mom, if you take their money, after they disappear, the police will investigate all the details of their life and would get to you in no time. You can't wash it out even if you jump into the Yellow River. Then, Dad and Claire, As soon as Elaine heard this, she was shocked and blurted, "You must never tell your father and Claire about this. You hear me?" Elaine also knew that if this incident were to be taken out, she would be regarded as gathering crowds to gamble. Once her husband and daughter knew that she was betting so much outside, they would be extremely angry. In that way, she may not have a good life. Although the money is gone now, those people are even more troubled. All of them have been sent to the black coal kiln to dig for coal. Every one of them doesn't even want to get away for more than 10 or 20 years. So in such a comparison, she is not too miserable. However, the money and bracelet are gone, which is really distressing. It's good to say that the bracelet is gone. Anyway, she took the fragments, and she can tell the family directly that the bracelet was broken. But the money is a bit uncomfortable subject. The family's money was in her own hands. Jacob doesn't have any money himself, and even the hundreds of thousands he earned from reselling antiques were in her own hands. And she has lost all her family's savings. If this is known by her husband, he will be mad. Elaine sighed in her heart, and felt very regretful about what happened today. On the way back, Orville called Charlie and said, "Mr. Wade, I personally put the convoy on the highway just now, and the convoy has already gone to Jinx. I should have gone there in person to explain you. It's a little better to get things done, but tonight Classic Mansion has something to do. Someone with a big background has booked the Diamond Box for a banquet, so I have to go over and take a look." Having said that, Mr. Orville said again, "But don't worry, I will fly there tomorrow. It is estimated that their convoy will be there when I arrive in the afternoon." Charlie gave a hum, and asked curiously, "There is a distinguished guest in Classic Mansion tonight? What is the way?" Mr. Orville hurriedly said, "Regner and his son Roger from the Wu family in Oris Hill." Charlie frowned. It has been several days, but the people from Wu's family haven't left yet? Do they stay in Oris Hill, trying to find him out? After all, Wu Qi's psychological suggestion that he must eat shit every hour was made by him. It is estimated that the Wu family also realizes that there must be a hidden story behind this, so they want to find out. But Charlie wasn't worried. The Wu family was not as powerful as the Wade family. Besides, with their current strength, even if the Wade family's background is not moved out, the Wu family can't help themselves at all. If the Wu family insists on pretending to be forceful, then they can't blame him for being rude. So Charlie said to Orville, "Okay, you can do your job first." "Okay, Mr. Wade." He hung up the phone and the car was almost home. Elaine said to Charlie, "Bring the car over, and I will drive back by myself. You can go back, lest your father and Claire see us coming back together." Charlie nodded indifferently, pulled the car aside, and got out of the car. "Just right, you can also buy a la carte." When shopping for vegetables, Charlie called the old master and asked him if the party in the Brilliant Club was over. The old master told him that he had just returned home after the party, and he also thanked Charlie, because Charlie had earned him enough face today. When Charlie went home after buying vegetables, Jacob was sitting in the living room, holding a cup of tea, humming a little song with a happy expression on his face. Seeing Charlie's return, he immediately smiled and said, "Oh my good son-in-law, you are back." Charlie smiled and called to his father, and then found that Claire and his mother-in-law Elaine were not in the living room, and asked, "Have Claire and Mom come back?" "Claire didn't come back, your mother is back." Jacob waved his hand and said, "Your mother went into the house as soon as she came back. She said she was uncomfortable, and she didn't know what happened. Maybe it was because she lost money playing mahjong and felt uncomfortable." Charlie nodded, and deliberately asked, "Do you want to go and see?" "Care about it? I care about my bullshit." Jacob curled his lips and said, "She knows playing mahjong all day long, and she is so annoying. If she really loses, there are tens of thousands of people, let her feel uncomfortable." In 2 days, she knew it had converged. Charlie laughed dumbly. 8,000? You have to multiply by 8,000 on the basis of 8,000. Today Elaine lost more than 60 million. When Charlie remembered, he couldn't help sighing that his mother-in-law was really lacking in brains. Several old ladies played mahjong. She could lose more than 60 million. What kind of idiot must she make to make such a mistake? At this moment, the Wilson family villa. At this moment, Noah, like Jacob, was sitting comfortably in a recliner, sipping tea and humming a small song, waiting for Horiya's triumphant return. Noah and Jacob are worthy of being brothers, and the way they celebrate good things is almost the same. Noah was playing with his mobile phone at this time, and looked at it repeatedly. Horiya's WeChat was sent an hour ago, his mouth crooked. It read on WeChat, "My husband, Elaine's savings of more than 2 million, the house of 1 or 2 million that she currently lives in, and her jade bracelet worth 4 to 5 million have all been lost to us. That set of Thompson's first-class villa worth 130 million has already been mortgaged to us, and Charlie will send the copy of the house soon. This time we are well rich." Noah figured it out. Even if she didn't mention the miscellaneous things, the villa alone could sell for at least 120 million after changing hands. By then, his family would be divided into 40%, and there would be nearly 50 million. 50 million, enough to earn. At that time, if you add in cash, old house properties, and jade bracelets, you can get a few million more. By that time, more than 50 million will be harvested. In addition, there are 15 million deposits in the family, which adds up to nearly 70 million. Even if the Wilson family fell, the money would be enough for him to be cool for a long time. Noah even planned the use of the money. First, 8 million must be given to Mrs. Wilson. Because the Lady Wilson urged the 8 million to death in the past 2 days, Noah said that the money was being redeemed by the fund manager and had to wait 2 days, and promised that it would be credited to the Wilson Group account tomorrow. His own plan was to wait for Horiya to finish pitting Elaine before giving the Lady Wilson 8 million and sending her away. As for the remaining money, he decided to hold it tightly, and must not let the Lady Wilson know. When the time comes, he will buy a villa first, and when the Wilson family goes bankrupt, he will move there. Thinking of this, Noah felt more happy, and couldn't help but sighed, "Elaine, this stinky lady, dare you to have a villa with yourself? Isn't it cool now? Really deserve it. This money is right. Think of it as paying for your own mental loss." For him, he didn't have any psychological burden at all for ruining Elaine's bankruptcy. This kind of stinky lady just wants to cheat, so much more cheat, cheat, cheat to death. The best thing is that once this stinky lady has money, she should think of something to cheat all her money and turn her into a long-term money bag. After receiving the mobile phone, Mrs. Wilson called Horia again, but the other side still reminded her that it was turned off. Old Mrs. Wilson said in confusion, "What's the matter? Why is the phone turned off?" Noah said, "Mom, isn't it normal for the phone to shut down automatically when it is out of power? Besides, it is not convenient to call her again and again when she is outside." The old Mrs. Wilson threw the phone to him and said angrily, "Just keep trying until you get through." Noah was helpless, so he sat in a chair and kept hanging up and calling out. It lasted more than half an hour, but the phone still prompted shut down. Noah felt more and more in his heart that things didn't seem to be right. It stands to reason that Horia went out to cheat money with Lien, not outdoors, but indoors. It should be very convenient to charge the phone. Moreover, he also reminded her before that she should keep in touch at all times when the time comes, and if there is any accident, he can rescue her. Therefore, it should not shut down. What exactly is going on? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sit up straight, his face became serious, and he said to himself, "This is not right." Old Mrs. Wilson glanced at him and snorted coldly, "Don't act here, what is going on?" Noah suddenly felt a little irritable, and he felt a little uneasy. So he opened his mouth and said to the Lady Wilson, "Mom, don't make trouble with Horia. I can't contact Horia now. I will find someone else to see if anyone is with her." After speaking, Noah dialed Lien again. Like Horia's mobile phone, the receiver also indicates that it has been turned off. Then, Noah dialed Ron and Nivea again, and the result was the same. Is this not too weird? At this time, Noah's heart was completely confused. He scratched his hair in a panic, the bad premonition in his heart became stronger and stronger. Old Mrs. Wilson saw his state, the more she looked at it, the less he was acting, and she realized that something really happened. So she hurriedly asked, "What's going on with you? You tell Mom the truth." Noah shook his head and said, "I don't know what's going on." The old Mrs. Wilson asked, "Then what do you look unsettled? Why can't Horia contact me yet? What are you hiding from me?" Noah hesitated for a moment, sighed, and said, "Mom, let me tell you the truth. Actually, Horia set up a game for Elaine today, found a senior, and played mahjong with Elaine. The money in her hand and Charlie's villa were both cheated. In this way, when the bank seizes our villa, won't you be able to live in the Thompson first-class product you are thinking of?" When Mrs. Wilson heard this, her eyes lit up and she blurted out with excitement, "Is the villa now in your hands? When can I live in?" When the old Mrs. Wilson heard the words Thompson, her eyes straightened. She has been greedy for Charlie's big villa, dreaming that she can live in it. She even wanted to die there when she was old. There are some superstitions and sayings in the folk, such as, when you are dying, it is best not to die in the hospital, otherwise you will not find your way home. For another example, you must wear a shroud before you die, otherwise there will be no clothes to wear there. For example, if you live in a mansion before you die, you will be able to give birth to a wealthy family in your next life and enjoy the glory and wealth. Therefore, Mrs. Wilson also longed that she could live in a top luxury villa like Thompson until she died. Last time, she directed Harold to rob the villa. As a result, several bodyguards of the Wilson family were beaten into dogs, and Harold was beaten terribly alongside. From then on, although the Lady Wilson broke off the idea of grabbing, she still had a greedy heart. When she heard that Noah and Horia were planning to trick that villa into their design, she was excited. At this time, Harold and Wendy had just returned from outside, and when they entered the villa, they became excited when they heard this. Harold walked to the front and asked, "Dad, you said that Mom is going to get to Charlie's villa? Did she succeed?" Wendy was also very excited and asked, "Yes, Dad, did you succeed?" Noah sighed at this time. The last WeChat message she sent me said that she had deceived Elaine's cash, the house she lives in, and Charlie's Thompson first-class villa. Before Noah could say a word, Mrs. Wilson was very excited and smiled. "This is really a great thing, it's really great. So, when the bank comes to seal up this villa, we will be able to move in. Thompson first product is gone from their hands." "Ha ha ha, Elaine, that uncultivated poor ghost shrew, should be cheated. It is best to cheat her to bankrupt her family." Noah smiled bitterly. "Mom, even if things are done in the villa, we still have to share it with other people. If you want to keep this villa, it doesn't matter if you want to replenish it. But it doesn't matter. Now the key is Horia can't be found anymore. I can't get in touch with her now, and the few people who organized the game with her can't get in touch either. They are all lost. Lost connection." Old Mrs. Wilson was stunned. After a while, she frowned and said, "Noah, wouldn't she run away with the money?" "Run?" Noah blurted out, "Should not, right? Why is she running?" Harold also said, "Grandma, Mom can't take the money away, don't worry." The old Mrs. Wilson shook her head and said, "Don't say such things now. The Wilson family is no longer what it used to be, and Horia knows in her heart that it is impossible for the Wilson family to return to its original glory. All the money is with her. If she doesn't want to live with you, wouldn't she take money and run away?" Speaking of this, Mrs. Wilson said solemnly, "If she has sold the villa she scammed and exchanged tens of millions of billions in cash, then she will have even more reason to run away. She can go abroad and you'll never find her again." Noah said, "Mom, Horia has been married to me for so many years. Although sometimes we quarrel and argue, our relationship is still very stable." Old Mrs. Wilson said coldly, "That's because she has no money. She used to depend on us to live, now? You gave her all the savings, and she has the financial power and no longer need to rely on you." With that, Mrs. Wilson said again, "Also, she lied got the Charlie's villa today, and her value skyrocketed several times. Now holding tens of millions of assets in her hand, you are not a husband in her eyes. It's dragging the oil bottle." Noah's expression froze. Although he didn't want to admit that what Mrs. Wilson said was the truth, he still vaguely realized some problems in his heart. If Horia really got tens of millions in hand, maybe she would really do something like this. After all, this woman and Elaine had a good relationship with each other, and they were both eye-catching and addicted to money. Now, he, his son, his daughter, and even her own mother have all become oil bottles. Maybe she would really choose to roll all the money and leave. Thinking of this, Noah's face was uncertain, and said, "I'll call Elaine and ask." After speaking, he immediately took out his mobile phone and called Elaine. This time, the call went through quickly. When Noah heard the call connected, he said quickly, "Elaine, I am your eldest brother." When Elaine heard his voice, her teeth tickled with hatred. This old dog! Horia had set up a trick to deceive her, he must know. Moreover, maybe this old dog is making suggestions behind his back. Thinking of the extremely heavy losses today, Elaine couldn't wait to greet Noah's 18th generation directly on the phone. However, when she thought that Horiya's dog had been sent to the Black Coal Kill, she could only suppress the anger in her heart and said disdainfully, "Noah, my husband and I have left the Wilson family. Why are you calling me now?" Noah was also annoyed when he heard this, but when he asked her to find out, he couldn't annoy her, so he could only ask angrily, "Elaine, can you count me wrong?" Elaine snorted and said, "Let's talk about it. What can you do with me?" Noah hurriedly asked, "Elaine, have you seen Horiya today?" Elaine immediately denied, "No, since I was in Chalane's villa last time, I have never seen my sister-in-law again." "What's wrong?" "No." Noah cursed inwardly, didn't this stinky lady show that she was lying? Today, Horiya has been broadcasting to him live on WeChat, reporting to him downstairs at the house, reporting to him in her BMW car, and reporting to him when playing mahjong with her. Even, she has reported to him how much money and things she won with her. She is telling him that she didn't see her? Although Noah was very angry in his heart, he could only hold back his anger and said, "When Horiya went out today, she said she was going to play mahjong with you. Have you really not seen her?" Elaine felt a little guilty. After all, the three people who played mahjong with her today, even the same gang of gangsters, were sent to dig coal. If they let their family know that they are related to him, they might get revenge on him. If they call the police, she can't argue with it. Therefore, she can only deny it to the end. So she impatiently said to Noah, "You are really interesting, I have not seen her, can I not count it in my heart? I have never seen her before." Noah didn't care if he would be exposed, and said quickly, "Elaine, don't hang up. Tell me the truth, did you see her? Where did she go?" "In the afternoon, she sent me a WeChat message. Now, she said she played cards with you, and she also said that she won your son-in-law Charlie's villa at the first grade of Thompson. How could you never meet her?" Elaine hurriedly said, "Noah, it's interesting for you to talk. When did my villa went to her? Besides, I said that I haven't seen Horiya before. I'm not too late to bother. How could it be possible to play cards with her?" Speaking of this, she also guessed in her heart that Noah must be behind the scenes. So she gritted her teeth and said, "Noah, your wife, maybe she ran away or eloped with someone, deliberately playing mahjong with me as a pretense. I heard that she had packed one in KTV before. Tender ducks about the size of your sea dragon, the two of them kept saying they would save money and fly." When Noah heard these words, he immediately yelled, "Elaine, you're not here." Elaine was also anxious, and blurted out, "Oh, don't you believe it? Okay, let me tell you, if you can find Horia, I will lose. Noah blurted out and asked, what do you mean? Elaine scolded, try to figure out what you mean. I'm upset now, I don't bother to tell you. After speaking, Elaine immediately hung up the phone. Listening to the busy tone on the phone, Noah almost dropped the phone with anger. It was Harold who stopped him in time and blurted out, Dad, don't be impulsive. The top priority now is to get Mom back first. Harold didn't know that his mother had been sent to the ditch of Jinx. With the Wilson family's ability, it would be impossible to find her in this life. At this time, Wendy on the side also persuaded, yes, Dad. What are you angry about? What did that stinky lady Elaine say? Noah said angrily, Elaine said that your mother wrapped up a little white face and ran away with him. Ah! Harold, Wendy, and old Mrs. Wilson all looked shocked. Bring a little white face. Old Mrs. Wilson shouted angrily, is this true? I don't know, Mother. Noah was anxious and angry, blurting out, Elaine said so on the phone, and said that Horia just verbally lied to me that she was setting up a situation for her and cheating her to lose money. She set me up, let me take it lightly, and then fight for time and opportunity to elope. Harold blurted out, the dog spit out blood. How could my mother keep a little white face? Noah's expression was a little weird, and he said coldly, who can say this well? Now I think about it, your mother is indeed a bit suspicious in doing things. What? Harold and Wendy hurriedly asked, why is Mom suspicious? Noah said with a gloomy face, your grandma has been asking me to pay 8 million to the family. Your mother was not willing to pay, so she proposed to transfer the money to her first, and then I told your grandma that the money is being redeemed by the financial manager. That's why I transferred all the 15 million in my account to her. Old Mrs. Wilson glared in anger, slapped Noah's face directly, and scolded angrily, didn't you tell me that you only have 10 million? Noah was in a rush just now, so he told the truth all at once. Now he was slapped in the face. He was aggrieved and angry. He blurted out, Mom! Didn't you estimate that I had 10 million? It wasn't me who said it. Old Mrs. Wilson cursed, then why don't you tell me the truth? I'm your mother. Why don't you give me an answer and tell me how much money you have? Noah was speechless. After all, it was indeed that he had concealed the amount of his own funds. There was no quibble about this. Old Mrs. Wilson was very angry, and said coldly, I always thought you were different from your brother. I thought you were better than your brother. I thought you were better than your brother, and more insightful. But I didn't expect you. Even you dare to lie. With that said, Mrs. Wilson gritted her teeth and said, you now know what is smart, but you were mistaken by smartness? You didn't tell your mother, but instead gave the money to your wife. Now it's fine. Now, we are done. Wendy bit her lip and said, Grandma, my mother is not like that. Old Mrs. Wilson sneered, isn't that kind of person? What about your mother? Where did she go? Why did she disappear at this time? After that, the old Mrs. Wilson asked aggressively, also, your mother kept saying that if you find someone to do the game, Elaine, why are all the people who did the game with her disappear? Only Elaine is fine? This proves that there is a lot of strangeness in this matter. Harold blurted out, "Could it be Elaine who did it? Could it be that she, in turn, cleaned up my mother and the other people who did the game for her?" The old Mrs. Wilson said disgustedly, "Elaine? She is a BTCH, how can she have this kind of ability? Just your second uncle's idiot wife. She will be calculated by hers like a BTCH. Your mother's character, I won't comment on it, just smart. The strength is 10 times that of Elaine. If she really wants to play Elaine, then Elaine can only be played." Noah's expression is uncertain, and he is also highly suspicious now that his wife ran away with the money. Except for this explanation, nothing else can be explained. 4 people can't just disappear from the world, right? When the world has evaporated, there should be some shadows and clues left. Combined with Horiya's 15 million cash in hand, he even felt that Horiya might be sentenced to himself. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth and said, "No, I have to go to Elaine and ask in person." The old Mrs. Wilson angrily hit Noah with a cane on the back and cursed, "Go and ask her the question, and then find me the stinky lady Horiya. Even if you can't find her, you have to get the 15 million back for me. If you can't find the money, don't do it. Just assume I never gave birth to you." Noah nodded and said, "Well, I'll go now." Old Mrs. Wilson suddenly said, "Don't worry. I'll go with you." Noah collapsed and said, "Mom, what are you going to do? Don't make trouble with it. I add chaos." Old Mrs. Wilson scolded angrily, "You have lost all the money, and now you say I add chaos? I tell you, I must go this time. If you don't solve this matter for me, I will live at Jacob's house from now on, and I will sever the mother-child relationship with you." Noah couldn't tell the hardship, so he nodded and said, "Oh, let's go together." The two of them were very anxious. They went out for a taxi, and went straight to Elaine's house. Charlie and his father-in-law were sitting on the sofa watching TV, while the mother-in-law Elaine was alone in the room, wrapped her head in the bed and weeping, still distressing over 2 million cash and the broken jade bracelet. At this time, suddenly there was a bang on the door. Charlie stood up and opened the door, and found the old Mrs. Wilson and Noah standing at the door, frowning and asking, "What are you doing here?" The old Mrs. Wilson was so angry when she saw Charlie, she cursed angrily, "You rubbish, get out of my way and let Elaine come out." Charlie frowned and said coldly, "Lady Wilson, our family has severed relationship with you, you are not welcome here." "What are you talking about?" Old Mrs. Wilson cursed angrily, "Who gave you the order? How dare you be disrespectful to me?" Charlie said coldly, "Do you think you were the former patriarch of the Wilson family? Wherever you go, you are a domineering spirit. Tell you, you are not welcome here, hurry up and leave." After speaking, Charlie had to close the door. Jacob heard the movement at this time and ran over. Seeing the two people at the door, he couldn't help frowning and asked, "What are you doing here?" The old Mrs. Wilson coldly snorted, and asked with sheer majesty, "Jacob, do you still see me as your mother in your eyes?" Jacob was taken aback and said, "You want to sever the relationship with me? You should ask yourself if you have me as son in your eyes." Mrs. Wilson's expression was very ugly, and she blurted out, "Blood is thicker than water. I am your mother at all times. Jacob has been wronged by the Lady Wilson for so many years. It is long enough. He said angrily, when you are bored with me, you will cut off your relationship with me. Whenever you need me, it will always be my mother. I'm sorry, such a mother. I don't want either. After speaking, Jacob turned his head and went back to the room. Charlie looked at Mrs. Wilson and Noah, smiled slightly, and said, "You have heard what my father-in-law said, please go back." Old Mrs. Wilson did not expect that Jacob, who has always been cowardly, would have a temper in front of her. She can't help but feel angry and hate. For decades, she had been using Her Majesty to crush Jacob to death, and Jacob had never been able to resist, or even refuted. Even if she drove him out of the Wilson family, he was afraid to let go. Unexpectedly, he dared to say this to her today. Are the wings really hard? How dare to say that a mother like her, he doesn't want this kind of rebellious remarks. It really turned him back. Just when she was furious and wanted to attack on the spot, so as to protect her dignity and majesty. Noah on the side had already put down his body and said to Charlie, "Charlie, we are not here to cause trouble today. I have something to find out from your mother-in-law Elaine. So, you can let her come out quickly. I am in a hurry. Ask her about things." Charlie naturally knew that Noah must have come to ask about Horia. It is a pity that Noah could not have imagined that Horia and Lien's group had been secretly sent to Jinx. Therefore, to him, Horia must be like the world has evaporated. So Charlie said to Noah, "If you have anything you can tell me, I will tell her." Noah hurriedly said, "My wife is lost." Charlie pretended to be surprised and asked, "You lost wife? Why did you lose her?" Noah was very upset at Charlie's verbal questioning, but still suppressed his temper, and said, "I just can't find her, so I can't get in touch anymore. Before she lost contact, she saw your mother-in-law last time, so I came to ask." Charlie smiled and said, "This kind of thing can actually be understood without asking." Noah blurted out and asked, "What do you mean?" Charlie said, "I meant it is very simple, I just think your wife should have run away." As he said, Charlie shook his fingers and said, "Look at you now, 1 has no money, 2 has no power, and 3 has no nobles to help. It seems that the Wilson family will soon be bankrupt and liquidated, and your villa will go out of your hands. You have to take it away from the bank? Aunt has never suffered in her life, she can't live with you in low-rent housing, right?" Noah gritted his teeth and said, "This matter has nothing to do with you. You'd better not talk too much." Jacob, Charlie's father-in-law, walked over at this time and said seriously, "Big brother, I think Charlie's words are very reasonable. The Wilson family is now a bottomless pit. If I'm a sister-in-law, I won't live with you anymore. After I have passed you, I will take away all your money and go out and start a new life." Noah didn't expect that. Jacob immediately poked the piece in his heart that he feared the most, and suddenly cursed angrily, "Jacob, don't guess my wife here. If it doesn't depend on you for my brother's sake, I've already taught you a lesson." As soon as Noah's voice fell, Charlie slapped his face directly, and he slapped his eyes with gold stars. Before he came back to his senses, Charlie said coldly, "Noah, you dare to be so presumptuous at the door of my house, forgetting the fate of your son and the Wilsons family." Noah was slapped in the face, and he was honest in an instant. He knows, don't say what he wants now. Even if he was still the former Noah, Charlie couldn't help it. This guy didn't know where he learned martial arts. Several bodyguards of the Wilson family were beaten up by him, let alone himself. Thinking of this, Noah held back the anger in his heart and said to Jacob, "Jacob, it was my fault just now. I apologize to you, but I should trouble you to call out your younger brother and sister. I want to ask her something." Jacob was so refreshed at this time, he couldn't wait to hug his baby son-in-law Charlie and kiss him. What a relief! He was making Noah feel uncomfortable. He slapped him straight away. It was awesome. Jacob felt very happy, and said to Noah, "Big brother, I ask you, did you and sister-in-law want to buy a villa 2 days ago?" Noah asked subconsciously, "How did you know?" Jacob blurted out, "Elaine told me that she was playing mahjong at her friend's house. She happened to see you and sister-in-law going to visit her friend's house, so she told me." Noah nodded and said, "I did read it, but what does it have to do with today's affairs?" As soon as he finished speaking, the Lady Wilson on the side frowned and asked, "What's the matter? Do you want to buy a villa?" "Why don't I know?" Noah was desperate. Seeing Mrs. Wilson's angry face, he could only patiently explain, "Mom, Horia and I are afraid that we will have no place to live after the villa is sealed, so we want to see if there is a suitable replacement in advance." "You bullshit!" Mrs. Wilson cursed angrily, "If you don't want to take this money out to help me in the emergency, my villa will be taken back. It's fine if you don't help me, and even go to see the villa behind my back." Noah's expression is extremely embarrassed. It seems that this matter will not be resolved. Old Mrs. Wilson was furious. She slapped him with her feet, and cursed, "You are not a dog with eyes. If you don't believe in your own mother, believe in an outsider. Now it's all right." 15 million hits. The water is drifting. You are trying to drive us all to death. When Jacob heard that his elder brother Noah turned out to be 15 million, he felt sore. He has been following the Wilson family for so many years, and continue to be more than 1 million. Later, he made some antiques and earned some more. His daughter gave him some more. The family barely had more than 2 million. Unexpectedly, Noah would have 15 million himself. Thinking of this, he said sourly, "No wonder, elder brother. You must have put 15 million in sister-in-law's hands, right?" Noah said with a sullen expression, "It has nothing to do with you." Jacob sighed and said, "Big brother, you gave so much money to sister-in-law, even if sister-in-law doesn't want to cheat, those young men who dream every day and expect rich old aunts to save them will not let them go." Noah frowned and asked, "What do you mean by this?" Jacob looked at him and said in surprise, "Do you usually use your mobile phone to access the internet? There are many cases of this kind on the internet. Some young men seduce rich old women like sister-in-law, and when the time comes, they say something to the old auntie, 'I don't want to work hard anymore.' The rich old aunt immediately gives money to buy a car or the house, take him up, and even elope with him." Speaking of this, Jacob said regretfully, 15 million. I don't know how many young men chase after sister-in-law to please her, I'm afraid that the sister-in-law will not be able to pick it. Noah was trembling with anger. Auntie, I don't want to work hard on such a stock. He can occasionally see it on various headline consultations on his mobile phone. At that time, he even had a crooked mind, thinking that in the future, if he has money and meets a young and beautiful girl, telling himself that Uncle I don't want to work hard, then he can also send her an address directly and let her just come to him. Of course, this was only in the obsession that existed in his mind. He had never had the courage and the strength to make it a reality. But now, when he heard Jacob talk about his wife like this, he didn't know what was going on. That kind of imagery suddenly became very strong. He even thought of a scene of a young man sitting in his wife's arms and calling her aunt flatly. Noah worked for a while, feeling that he didn't know how many green hats were on his head, and he was extremely angry. At this moment, he was anxious and angry. He gritted his teeth and cursed, "Jacob, what qualifications do you have to laugh at my wife? Your wife is not a good thing. Fortunately, you have no money. If you have money, just like Elaine good thing, she would have already been out with 10 little white faces." At this moment, Jacob's bedroom door opened, and Elaine ran out angrily, pointing to Noah's nose and cursing, "Noah, your own wife ran away, why did you come to our house and dare to ridicule the Lady Wilson? You don't see what you are." Seeing Elaine finally came out, Noah asked sharply, "Elaine, have you seen Hori yet?" Elaine scolded, "I said I haven't seen her before, but I haven't seen her. Why are you with such nonsense? I tell you, Horia was out with a little white face, rolled money and ran away, do you believe it or not?" Noah gritted his teeth and cursed, "You said she has a little white face, what evidence do you have?" Elaine said coldly, "Your wife and money are missing, what evidence do you need? You don't want to find evidence by yourself? What are you looking for in my house?" Noah was about to suffer from a heart attack, and Mrs. Wilson said coldly from the side at this time, "Okay, let's go home. Don't be embarrassed here." Noah pointed at Elaine bitterly, and cursed, "Screw, you wait for me. Sooner or later I will clean you up." Elaine spit on him and said angrily, "You are so poor that you can't even afford to eat, and you want to clean me up? Sooner or later you will starve to death." After all, Elaine closed the door directly. Noah exploded dryly, but he didn't dare to continue entanglement, for fear that Charlie would beat him up again in a rage, so he could only leave with the Lady Wilson in a dingy manner. At the gate of the community, the old Mrs. Wilson said to Noah with a dark face, "Give you 3 days and find Horia for me. If you can't find her, bring the money back to me. Otherwise, you don't need this house. I'm back." After speaking, the Lady Wilson ran away angrily. Noah almost collapsed. The world is so big, where can he find Horia? It seems that the only way to go is to see Horia's family. After scolding Noah away, Elaine's always extremely depressed mood was a little better. Jacob didn't know what happened today. He thought that Horia really took the money and ran away. He gloated and said, "Haha, my eldest brother is really clever," and confused for a while. He didn't even think that he would catch fire in the backyard. He really laughed at me, ha 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 ha. Charlie glanced at Elaine, but she didn't expect this mother-in-law to be on the road. She denied seeing Horia with Noah's life and death. She had to blame Horia for having an affair and ran away with money, so she immediately took Noah to do it. His attention shifted to other places. Elaine looked at Charlie bitterly, and couldn't wait to eat him raw. Blamed this waste. Lian and Horia donated all the money she lost. Now that she has lost all the money in the family, she doesn't know how to hide it from Jacob. At this time, Jacob said happily, "By the way, my wife, give me 20,000, and I have a dinner tomorrow." A treat for dinner. Elaine suddenly became nervous, and blurted out, "Dinner for 20,000. Jacob couldn't help but said with joy, "I joined our Oris Hill Calligraphy and Painting Association some time ago. Now there is a vacancy for a standing director in the association. I want to fight for it. So I want to invite the chairman and other executives. The directors have a meal together to bring the relationship closer." After that, Jacob said with a smug look, "If I can take the position of executive director, then I will be a celebrity in the Oris Hill Antique Circle in the future." Elaine hurriedly scolded, "Are you going crazy? A treat for dinner costs 20,000? You run the money printing machine at home? I tell you, I won't agree." Jacob hurriedly said, "Oh, my wife, don't you want to climb up too? As a standing director, I will have more opportunities to get in touch with antique calligraphy and painting in the future, and there will be more opportunities to pick up the leaks. You are not the skill I missed. Haven't you seen it before? I made hundreds of thousands in one hand." Elaine was very guilty and said, "That's not okay to spend 20,000 on a dinner party. Do you really think that the wind blows at home?" Jacob said angrily, "I spent this money, and I will definitely earn it back in the future. The big deal, can I still borrow yours?" Elaine said contemptuously, "Who doesn't know your level of stinking? Even if you are a standing director, what can you do? I think you are about the same as Charlie a liar." Jacob was immediately anxious. "You Lady Wilson, why do you look down on me so much?" Elaine snorted, "I just look down on you, what's the matter? Tell you, you want money? No." After speaking, she turned around and went back to the room pretending to be angry. Jacob was very depressed. "What are you doing, stinky girl? Don't give me 20,000? I made a lot of money anyhow." He was about to go to the room to find Elaine for the theory. Charlie hurriedly stopped him and said with a smile, "Dad, since Mom doesn't want to give you money, it's useless for you to chase after her." Jacob said angrily, "But I have already greeted them, and I want to invite them to dinner. I only have 1,000 in my pocket, which is not enough for a treat." As he said, Jacob said again, "Our president said, I have a great chance to be the standing director, and it depends on whether I can perform well." When Charlie heard this, his heart suddenly felt helpless. Father-in-law, who knows no antique calligraphy and painting, is exactly a half-blind among the blind. He has been cheated so many times and lost a lot of money. In the end, he made a fortune by cheating on Irvin Jones. It is said that Irvin Jones now hides from him every day, does not answer his phone calls, does not answer his WeChat, and sees him in Antique Street. Even if he doesn't want the stall, he will run away. People like him are mixed in the association of calligraphy and painting, which is just a way of filling the numbers. However, Charlie naturally wouldn't say such things, so he said to Jacob, "Dad, I still have some private money. Let me transfer 20,000 to your WeChat." When Jacob heard this, he immediately said with excitement, "Oh my good son-in-law! You really helped Dad a great favor." Charlie sighed, transferred 20,000 to him, and said, "Claire is coming back soon. I will cook." Jacob received the money and hurriedly said flatteringly, "Good son-in-law, I'll help you wash rice." While Charlie was busy cooking, Regner and Roger, and his son also left the Wilson family and drove to Classic Mansion. Tonight, Regner hosted a banquet in Classic Mansion and invited some of the most prestigious people in Oris Hill. On the one hand, he wanted to find clues to the sudden change of his younger son Wu Qi, and on the other hand, to let the Wu family lay a little foundation in Oris Hill. Although the Wu family is the first family in Oris Hill, it does not mean that they have sufficient control over the entire Oris Hill. The Wu family's base camp is in Suzhou, so they have extraordinary control in the Suzhou area, but Oris Hill is the Song family's base camp, so the Wu family's influence in Oris Hill is far worse than the Song family. Originally, the major families in Oris Hill each had their own spheres of influence, and everyone maintained such a tacit understanding and respect for each other, and no one would expand their strength within the sphere of influence of the other side. Regner didn't want to go deep in Oris Hill, but the key is now that his eldest son Roger wants to marry Warnia from the Song family. In order to achieve this goal, Roger will stay in Oris Hill for a long time in the future, so he prepared to fight with Oris Hill families first. A greeting can also bring enough convenience to Roger in Oris Hill in the future. Roger has been a bit irritable for the past 2 days, first of all, because the last time Regner and Mr. Song mentioned the marriage, Mr. Song directly refused, making Roger feel very shameless. In addition, Roger is even more troubled by Warnia's attitude. In the past few days that he and her father lived in Song's house, Warnia went out early and returned late every day. In the past, he heard from Honor that Warnia used to eat breakfast at home before going out, and then went home early in the evening to accompany her father to dinner. But now, Warnia doesn't even eat breakfast every day and drives away straight out of her room in the morning. In the evening, after she had eaten outside, comes back very late, and goes directly back to the room, basically not giving Roger a chance to meet. This made him depressed. He really didn't expect Warnia to look down on him a little bit, unwilling to marry him. Why is she acting like this? In the car, Regner also noticed that his son's condition was not right, so he said, You have to be more patient in everything. For a girl like Warnia, the whole Oris Hill may not be able to find the second one. If you want to get your hands on her, it must take some energy and think. Roger was angry and said, "Dad, there is no other young man in Oris Hill who is better than me, right? I can match her, why does she not know how to praise?" Regner said indifferently, "You don't understand, girls from big families are always more popular than boys from big families." Then, he said, "A woman like Warnia, even among East Cliff's first-class and top families, would want to marry her in, because she is not only beautiful and capable, but the family strength is not weak, both inside and outside. It's all very good. Not only does it save face when married, it can also play a very important role in the family, and even brings a generous dowry. However, if you want to marry a girl from a East Cliff first-class family or a top-class family, it will be as difficult as the sky. It is difficult for them to look at you. This is because when they look at you, they don't just look at you, but it is the strength of the entire Wu family. In layman's terms, in the upper class, if a woman's comprehensive strength reaches 70 points, then she can marry a man with a comprehensive strength of 80 points, but a man whose comprehensive strength reaches 70 points is difficult to marry a comprehensive strength of 70 points woman. Roger was a little angry, but blurted out, "Then what do you mean, I am looking for Warnya or am I climbing?" Regner said indifferently, "Although you may not like to listen to the truth, it is basically the same as this. Warnya will definitely find a better man than you, but it is difficult for you to find a better woman than Warnya." Roger was stunned. At first he was a little unconvinced. After thinking about it, he felt that what Dad said was right. Warnya is indeed the woman with the highest overall score he has ever met. As for the daughters of those big families in East Cliff, even if the family is richer than the Song family, it is difficult to have the appearance and temperament of Warnya. Moreover, even if they can value themselves, their family may not be able to value themselves. Regner sighed at this time and said, "The news from home is that your brother's condition is not very optimistic." "What's wrong?" Roger hurriedly asked. "The situation has deteriorated again." "That's not true," Regner said, "it's still the same as before. He has to eat every hour, but your brother's own emotions are a little broken. When it happened before, if he was not allowed to eat, he would commit suicide. Now it's for him to eat. After he finishes eating and regains consciousness, he wants to commit suicide. It feels too painful to live like this." After speaking, he sighed, and he didn't know who Wu Qi had provoked, and became what he is now. Roger gritted his teeth and said, "If I were to catch the man who harmed my brother, I must let him die without a burial place, in fact." Although Roger said so, what he desires most now is not to avenge or cure his younger brother, but to quickly take down Warnya. As for the situation of his younger brother Wu Qi, he doesn't really care. On the contrary, he felt that the way his brother was now, it was the best result for himself. Because of this, he will lose an absolute competitor in the future. Wu Qi is like this now. If he is not cured, he will never inherit any of the family's assets. The only end is to be locked up in the family in the snow and hidden in the family, giving him his life. In this way, he has the opportunity to inherit the Wu family alone. Regner sighed again at this time and said, "You don't have to worry about your brother's affairs. I'll check this line, and you will pursue Warnya with all your strength. You must catch Warnya. Do you understand?" Roger nodded hurriedly, "I understand, Dad." Regner gave a hum, and said, "Today I set up a bureau in Classic Mansion. Among the people I invited, there are the heads of the White family, the Qin family, the Liu family, the Zhao family, and the Kevin family. They have been in Oris Hill for many years. Each has its own merits in family, strength, connections, and resources. And Mr. Orville, the owner of Classic Mansion, was also invited today. He is the boss of Oris Hill's underground world. Although he can't get on the table, he has the most eyeliner. Most things in Oris Hill can't escape his eyes, so you have to keep in touch with them today." It will be of great use to your pursuit of Warnia in the future. Roger only knew about the White family and the Qin family, and knew that their patriarchs were Solomon White and Qin Gang respectively. He knew their influence, but he didn't know much about the other families, so he asked, "Dad, except for the White family and Qin family, the rest, what are the origins of the Liu family, Zhao family, and Kevin family?" Regner jokingly said, "The Zhao family and the Kevin family are ordinary real estate families. There is nothing too awesome about it, but this Liu family is a bit interesting. Their family is a financial company, and they are all illegal. Routine loans belong to the category of loan sharks. They have just risen in the past 2 years, and they have also raised a large number of gangsters who are collecting debts." Roger was surprised and said, "Then he is of the same nature as Mr. Orville." "The nature is similar." Regner nodded and said, "But his strength is much worse than Mr. Orville. Mr. Orville has many younger brothers in Oris Hill, dozens of times more than Lu Guang's collection team, so Lu Guang even hates Mr. Orville and dare not do anything to him." "Lu Guang hates Mr. Orville?" Roger asked in surprise, "Is there a contradiction between them?" Regner smiled and said, "The contradiction has increased. Lu Guang has an only child named Lu Ming. Some time ago, I didn't know how, offend Mr. Orville. He was knifed by Mr. Orville and carved the 2 characters on his forehead." "What word?" "Poor hanging." Roger exclaimed when he heard this, and blurted out, "Mr. Orville actually used a knife to carve the words poor hang on the forehead of Lu Guang's only son? It is not an exaggeration to say that this is a deadly vengeance." "Yes." Regner smiled slightly and said, "I guess that Lu Guang and his son wanted to kill Mr. Orville in their dreams. Eat his meat." When Roger heard this, he couldn't help asking, "Dad, since you know that Lu Guang and Mr. Orville have an antagonism, why do you invite this Lu Guang over to the dinner?" Regner smiled and said, "Don't you think Lu Guang is a good use object? A dog who wants to bite but dare not open his mouth. What he lacks most is a dog that can support him and let him open his mouth and bite with confidence." The host, Roger said, "Dad, if you want to take advantage of Lu Guang, why set the dinner in Classic Mansion? He and Mr. Orville are like fire and water, isn't it difficult?" Regner looked at Roger with deep eyes and said, "Lu Guang and Mr. Orville are both dogs. The only difference is that Lu Guang is a stray dog without an owner, while Mr. Orville is a dog of the Song family." Roger nodded and asked, "What then? Dad, what's the meaning of this?" Regner said, "If you want to marry Warnia in the future, you must have your own power in Oris Hill. Now these Oris Hill families are very polite to us, but they do not regard us as masters, but the Song family as masters. Therefore, we must develop our own forces in Oris Hill." After that, Regner said again, "There are 2 kinds of forces, one is on the ground, the other is underground, and on the ground, these are the serious business families other than the Liu family and Mr. Orville, and the underground. If we can't subdue Mr. Orville, we must train a dog that can fight against Mr. Orville. Therefore, Liu's family is the best choice." Regner looked at Roger and seriously warned, "If you want to inherit the Wu family in the future, you must be skilled in strategy. Why should I invite Lu Guang to dinner at Classic Mansion? On the one hand, we want to make Lu Guang feel pleasantly surprised. He is a stray dog like one who has no owner. He finally has the opportunity to eat with a big man like me. On the other hand, I want to make Lu Guang feel humiliated. The humiliation is that a stray dog like him who has no owner can only swallow his anger when facing his mortal enemy Mr. Orville. Only when he is humiliated will it be doubled. His desire for revenge. At that time, I will be merciful, give Lu Guang a chance, let him be my son, and give him a chance to revenge. He will definitely be grateful to me and go all out to deal with Orville. If Mr. Orville falls, then he is the underground emperor of Oris Hill. Then, the underground world of Oris Hill will be the power of our Wu family, understand? After listening to this, Roger suddenly realized. He was excited and said, "Dad, this trick of you is really wonderful. In this case, Lu Guang will definitely treat you and our Wu family. We want to enter Oris Hill in the future. Lu Guang is our vanguard and bridgehead." Regner praised, "Yes, only in this way will Oris Hill become the unbreakable hinterland of the Wu family in the future." Roger admired his father's strategy in his heart, and sighed, "I don't know when I will have a tenth of you, father." Regner smiled slightly and said, "Your current style of behavior is quite similar to that of mine. What you have to do now is to accumulate more, settle more, think more, and don't be impulsive in everything, you must slowly figure it out." Roger said, "Dad, I understand." "Yet." Regner nodded in satisfaction and said, "So if you return to Warnya, you must have enough patience, be steady, and let me get Warnya through like an eagle." Roger looked stunned, and immediately said respectfully, "Dad, I know. I will definitely not disappoint your expectations." When the voice fell to the ground, the car also arrived at the gate of Classic Mansion. Before the car stopped, Roger looked up and saw that outside the car window, a middle-aged man hurriedly greeted him, and through the car window, he respectfully saluted his father and himself. Regner nodded at him, and said to Roger, "This is the Lu Guang I was talking about." Roger suddenly realized. When the car stopped, Lu Guang hurriedly reached out to help Regner open the car door, and said with a smile, "Lu Guang has met Mr. Regner, Mr. Roger." Regner gave a hum, and said lightly, "You came quite early." Lu Guang hurriedly said, "I never expected you to invite me to a banquet, so I was afraid that I would be late." Originally, Lu Guang was unwilling to come to Classic Mansion in his entire life. Because Orville not only engraved the word poor hanging on his son's head but also asked his son to come to Classic Mansion every Friday to find him for routine reports and ask him to check the forehead for any problems, saying that if the scar is shallow, if you do, you have the will engrave it. This kind of humiliation made Lu Guang hate Orville, so he was not willing to come to Orville's site. But this time it was really different. He never dreamed that Regner, a big figure in the Wu family, would take the initiative to call him, saying that he was going to set up a dinner party at Classic Mansion, and he was the object of the dinner. This is Regner of Oris Hill First Family. It can be said to be the thickest leg in the whole Oris Hill. Lu Guang was worried that he couldn't hold his thighs, and when he suddenly received Regner's invitation, he was naturally 10,000 excited. Moreover, Lu Guang is eager to be able to establish a relationship with the Wu family through this dinner, and it is best to become the dog of this family. In this way, he has the opportunity to seek revenge from Mr. Orville. Regner nodded in satisfaction and said, "Lu Guang, your attitude is good, keep it up." When Lu Guang heard this, he was trembling with excitement, and he quickly bowed to Regner and said flatly, "Master, it is true that I have always admired the Wu family for a long time, and I have been fascinated by your reputation. If Wus don't dislike it, can you give me a chance to be in the next saddle? I will do my best for you." Regner glanced at him and felt that this guy was quite on the road. However, he still had the intention to beat him first, so he said indifferently, "Being a dog for the Wu family, your Lu family is not qualified, but I think your attitude is pretty good. Recently I also need an errand runner in Oris Hill. Do things for me and I will definitely not treat you badly in the future." Lu Guang showed ecstasy and kept surrendering his hands, respectfully said, "Thank you, Mr. Regner, I will do my best to be a cow and a horse for you." Regner hummed, and said to him, "Okay, time is almost up, I guess Mr. Orville is ready for the banquet, you can come in with me." Hearing Mr. Regner's words, Lu Guang showed a bit of resentment on his expression, but he still bowed respectfully and made a gesture of asking Regner, and said humbly, "Mr. Orville, please first." Regner was very satisfied with Lu Guang's attitude, nodded slightly, and walked into Classic Mansion. In Classic Mansion, Mr. Orville had already arranged people to prepare the dishes, and the other people who were invited to the banquet had already arrived early and had been waiting for a long time. Whether it is Mr. Orville, Qin Gang, and Solomon White, these three have the same attitude towards the Wu family father and son. That is not to flatter, but not offend. That's why they accepted the invitation of the Wu family and their sons to come to this banquet. In fact, everyone thinks very clearly, and they have summed up this matter together in private. Everyone's idea is to give the Wu family a face and be polite, but in fact, they still hope to follow Mr. Wade. As for the others, they all rushed to hug Wu's thighs. After all, the Wu family is the first family in the south of the Yangtze River. For many small and medium-sized families, it is like a towering tree full of fruits. Every monkey hopes to be able to hang on this tree. Therefore, seeing the Wu family father and son entering the diamond box, the people from the other families almost instantly got up to welcome them. Among them, the patriarch of the Zhao family took the lead in flattering and said, "Mr. Regner, you are really a superb. Young Master Wu is also a talented person, and he deserves to be the largest family in the south of the Yangtze River. This style is different." The other Kevin patriarch also nodded and echoed, "Yes. I haven't seen President Regner in the report before, but today I saw the true face and found that the true person Wu is more outstanding than the report." Regner gave a faint hum, his expression majestic, and he swept around. "The people sitting here are all famous and surnamed people in Oris Hill. The patriarchs of the Zhao family, the Kevin family, and the Lu family are always very respectful to them, and the meaning of flattering is particularly strong." The three of Solomon White, Qin Gang, and Orville had calm faces, indifferent expressions, and polite, but they were just ordinary courtesy, and they did not express heartfelt compliments to themselves. Although Regner didn't show anything, he still secretly felt unhappy with Solomon White. Lu Guang followed Regner like a grandson. As soon as he came in, he saw Orville in the private room and immediately observed at him with extremely resentful eyes. In his eyes, Orville had already forged a feud with himself. His precious son, being engraved with the word poor hang on his forehead, is simply one of the two biggest jokes in Oris Hill this time. Another joke is that Wu Qi, the second son of the Wu family, eats shit. However, everyone was afraid of the strength and majesty of the Wu family, and only dared to laugh at this in private, but in contrast, the strength of the Lu family was very average, so the deeds of Lu Guang's son Lu Ming were widely spread in Oris Hill. Is the chat capital of countless people after dinner. Just the day before yesterday, Lu Guang was working outside. He occasionally heard two children about 10 years old scolding, one scolded the other as a poor hanger, and the other immediately cursed, "Lu Ming is the real poor hanger, I am not." When Lu Guang heard this, he gave the kid a slap in the face. The kid who smoked fell to the ground without stopping. The other's father came to him to reason, and his driver and bodyguard slapped him on the ground. Hammered into the hospital. However, there are too many people mocking Lu Ming in Oris Hill. Where can they come? What's more, many people cannot afford to offend Lu Guang at all. This kind of humiliation gave Lu Guang a heart to kill. Had it not been for Orville's strength to be much greater than himself, he would have brought his brothers over to chop Mr. Orville into mashed flesh. Therefore, when he saw Orville at this time, he was naturally jealous when his enemies met, and fire burst out from his eyes. Orville didn't expect this guy to come. After all, Regner just told him to set a table for banquets here, but he didn't say who the banquet was. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.